la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Ooh, 7 o'clock snuck up on me, Cantor.
It did. It does that. It does that.
It is so wonderful to see all of you here. This is Shabbat. So last week was Shabbat Hagadol. Last week, remember, was the week where traditionally one of only 2 weeks a year where the rabbi would give a sermon, and the rabbi would give the longest sermon of the year. Rabbi Weiss definitely went easy on y'all last week. So tonight, the Shabbat during Passover is where the rabbi invites guest speakers to come speak.
Is that the tradition?
And we are so excited to have Beth Ann Gemunder and Elke coming here. Beth Ann from Tampa Jewish Family Services, Elke from Gulf Coast Jewish Family and Community Services. And as you know, we've spoken about, we'll learn how each of those organizations helps so many people to cross the seas to face the obstacles that they have in their lives. But we'll have a service first, and then we'll hear from you all later. A couple quick announcements before our service begins. If you have not yet turned your cell phone off, or at least turned it to silent, this is a great time to do so. Everything that you need for our service will be on the screens behind us. When there is a concurrent page number that will also be listed, you're always welcome to follow along in your Siddur as well. We know everyone comes into our sanctuary with lots of different needs. We try to meet those the best we can. Hopefully you saw our Shalom Station outside that door in the Schimberg Grand Foyer. We have headphones for anyone, noise-canceling headphones for anyone with auditory sensitivity. We have large print prayer books and reading glasses, and bags of quiet fidget toys for anyone who needs those in order to be more present during our service today. Also, while there are many times where we ask the congregation to rise, if it is difficult for anyone to stand physically, please know you're always welcome to remain seated. We know you'll be rising in your hearts. Joining Cantor and myself on the bima this evening, Robert Jarash, our accompanist and music director, adding so much beauty to our service. Jan and Joe are making sure all of our technology works. A special welcome to everyone joining us via our stream this evening, whether you are on our website or Facebook or YouTube or Tampa Bay Community Network or our Roku channel, which is back. It's been back, but it's still exciting to me every time to be able to say our Roku channel is back. However you are joining us this evening, we always say when you bring our sanctuary into your home becomes an extension of our sanctuary, and we are delighted to have you all with us this evening as well. Dana Grumman is our board representative and pulpit guest. We're letting Dana sit with Eric, but Dana will come up a little later with some announcements from the congregation. And with that said, we will join with Cantor Canizaro in the blessing over our candles and Kiddush. If you're at home, you're welcome to get your own candles and Kiddush. Those of you here, you have to make use of ours. But you can always light candles when you get home as well.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter the sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. And now, as I ask Rabbi Simon to forward through the slides, those of you at home, let's go ahead, keep going. Let's go ahead and get your Kiddush wine, and we're going to raise our cups as we join together in song. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'v'ratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim, kivanu v'chata v'yotanu kidashta bikomin v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava u'v'ratzon inchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-shabbat. Amen l'chaim. So I have to say, this looks different than our normal one.
You have to try it.
I'm going to. Is it better than normal? Let's see.
This is like the cooking shows where they do the taste.
That's actually pretty good. It's a new one.
I don't know. So it might be left over from Passover.
Thanks a lot.
You know, it's funny skipping the slides. At our Seder on Tuesday night, and it might have been someone in this room, but someone said to me, Rabbi, I think you skipped the appropriate number of pages in the Haggadah, right? Worried that I was going to read everything, but not wanting me to skip too much. So I skipped the perfect amount of pages. And then I was remembering as a kid in services sitting with the prayer book and counting how many pages were left until the end, and then always being excited when the rabbi skipped a few pages. And now with the slides, we really miss out on that, except for today. So I think we should add skipping slides
You think we should add that
to every service, and then everyone will get that joy of knowing that we're skipping.
I'll think about which pair to add, indeed. We're going to open our service. It is.
I did not have any wine before the service.
This is the Shabbat in Passover, so who knows what will happen tonight. But we're going to open our service with the singing of Hine Ma Tovu Manayim from our Psalms. How good it is when all of us are together and we dwell together in peace and love. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Try again. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim.
שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
We offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat which unites us in faith and hope, for Shabbat holiness which inspires sacred living, for Shabbat memories glowing even in darkness, for Shabbat peace born of friendship and love. We offer thanks and blessing, O God.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
Amen.
ועלמא דברך ירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בישראל. בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה. יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה.
Barichu.
לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמא, ואמרו אמן.
Let us rise.
Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Barechu et Adonai hamevorach. Barechu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam vaed. Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam vaed. Yai lai lai, lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai.
Adonai, your majesty is proclaimed by the marvels of earth and sky. Sun, moon, and stars testify to your power and wisdom. Day follows day in endless succession, and the years vanish, but your sovereignty endures. Though all things pass, let not your glory depart from us. Help us to become co-workers with you and endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv
Aravim.
Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on the evening.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod may be seated. Let's now join together in chanting the rest of the Shema with Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavecha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol me'odecha ve'hayu ha'devarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom alevavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Let's read together. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
Amen. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Blessed are you, Adonai, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת.
We rise.
Adonai שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, U'mevii geula livnei v'neihem, Lema'an shemo be'ahava, Melech ozer u'moshia u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atah rav lehoshia, Morid hatal, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishene afar, Michamocha ba'al gevurot, Umido melach, Melech memit umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lehachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai,
Mechaye
hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimacha kadosh, Ukadoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
You may be seated. As we read together. There are days when we seek for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain. On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share. There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted. On Shabbat, we stand in wonder before the mysteries of creation. There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others. On Shabbat, we are reminded that justice is our duty and a better world our goal. Therefore, we welcome Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. Joining together in our prayer for peace, Shalom.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Ki atahu melech adon Lecho hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon Lecho hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et amecha Yisrael. Bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam.
And after our prayer for peace, we join in a prayer for the state of Israel. Together. Avinu Shebashamayim, Sur Yisrael V'Goalo. O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen. And now, whether in our midst, our loved ones, in our community in Israel, throughout the world, we think of those finding themselves in need of healing on this Shabbat. Whether it be physical healing, mental healing, spiritual healing, we pray for everyone who is on their own journey, that they find the strength that they need. We pray that those who love them and support them have strength as they stand by them, and wisdom for those who take care of them. As we pray for a refuah shlema, a full healing of body and spirit for each of them.
Leimotenu
pause now, each for our own moment of silent prayer. As I shared in my email to the congregation, and as none of you needed me to share, this is a Passover different than any we've observed, at least in my lifetime. As we think about what it means to be captive, as we think about what it means to seek freedom, knowing that 133 are still being held captive now for over 200 days. I know we had seats for them at our temple Seder, and whether or not there was a physical seat, I know all of us had them in our hearts as we continue to. And it's a reminder in so many ways that there are so many in so many ways who are not free. And while this Passover gave us that unfortunate, extreme, tragic reminder of those who are not celebrating Passover as they would wish, we know that there are so many, for so many different reasons, who, again, as we think about it, have a Red Sea in front of them. And I asked Beth Ann and Elke to come join us this evening to speak about ways in which in our local community we can help those in need. I think sometimes we see so many big problems and we see so many things that are wrong in our world, and the words of Pirkei Avot, Lo alecha hamlacha ligmor, velo ata ben chorin lihibatel mimena, that we can't see all of the problems of the world and say it's too much for us. The text tells us it's not on you to do everything, and that doesn't mean that you're free to try to do something. So it is our obligation to do that which we can. And again, going back to the Passover story, the Midrash, where Moses is standing with his rod at the Red Sea and nothing is happening. And it was Nachshon ben Aminadab, the oldest of the Israelites, who began walking into the sea. And the Midrash, this story, tells us that only when the water went above Nachshon's nose did the water part, and the Israelites were able to pass through to freedom. So going back to, I don't know that, I have to be careful being misquoted when I'm on Tampa Bay Community Network, but I think Heschel said it, but it actually comes from someone else. Heschel said to pray with our feet, and I think it actually goes back to the church, but to pray as if everything depends on God and act as if everything depends on us. And whether Tampa Jewish Family Services or Gulf Coast Jewish Family and Community Services, these are two organizations that take those words to heart and guide our Jewish communities in being able to pray with our feet and do that which we know God would want us to do. So I'm going to start by inviting Dr. Beth Ann Gemunder to the Bima. Beth Ann is the prime example of why you never want to be president of an organization. Beth was president of Tampa Jewish Family Services when all of a sudden they were in need of a new director, and I don't know exactly how it happened, but they could not have had a more qualified person to be president at the time. So Beth became interim director, and then whoever the new president was brilliant, because, was it still you? Okay. So the new president at the time hired Beth Ann to come on full time, and she has done incredible things with the organization. We know Beth, of course, from our community, a former board member of the congregation. Her daughters became Benot Mitzvah on our Bima just a few months ago. Beth, we are delighted to have you with us, and I'll turn the Bima over to you at this time.
Good evening, everybody. As Passover tells us, with God's help, the sea parted and our people safely passed through on dry land and escaped the wrath of the Egyptian army. Pesach is a time to thank God for making our lives and our world better. Through Tampa Jewish Family Services, we work hard every day to improve the lives of struggling individuals and families of all faiths in our community. Each of our clients and patients, in their very own way, have encountered a life situation which requires a helping hand to part their own personal sea and get through to the other side. And that is what TJFS does, extends that helping hand. I would like to take you on a journey through how we help part the sea for our clients and our patients and guide them towards a better place in their lives. Just as the Jewish people face unusual circumstances, we assist approximately 14,000 people per year with their own daily challenges with food insecurity, emotional and mental health needs, and with difficulty paying their monthly bills. As the Jewish people wandered the desert for 40 years, God provided manna to keep them nourished until they reached the promised land. We also learned that we should welcome all to our table during the Passover Seder. If someone is hungry, let them come eat. At TJFS, anybody that says they are hungry is fed, and they are fed as often as is needed. Our community food bank is busier than ever before. Last year, we served approximately 2,700 households with food through our food bank, emergency food bags, and our community partners. When clients visit our food bank, they're greeted by our food bank coordinator and several volunteers. They receive their non-perishable food, and through our Healthy Conscious Food Initiative, they now also receive fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, whole grains, and dairy products. If food assistance is needed in between food bank days, we have our emergency food bags, which are available for pickup at both our Cone and our Brian Glazer campuses. Through our food bank, we also have holiday celebrations that we partake in, such as Thanksgiving, where we give out turkeys and all the fixings and pies. And then for Christmas and Hanukkah, we have our shopping store, which of course is free to our clients. And parents could come in and grab 2 or 3 gifts for each of their children, and our seniors come in and go to a different table and are able to get special gifts for themselves. We do all this by partnering with others. We partner with all our synagogues, of course, many churches, and even schools. We partnership with schools who have kids with diabetes and other schools that are very low income and do not have enough food to send to school with their kids, to send food to school with their kids. This allows us to expand our reach in our community. As we work tirelessly to expand our reach within the community, Moses worked tirelessly for the Jewish people. Moses delivered God's guidance and words of inspiration to us. And TGFS's Psychological and Social Wellness Center, we help guide and counsel patients with emotional issues and difficulty dealing with stress, depression, anxiety, grief and loss, and self-esteem issues. Our counseling is done both by taking insurance as well as on a sliding fee scale, and a great majority of our clients are on sliding fee scale because the help is just not there otherwise. We also have support groups, such as our caregiver support group, and more recently, we have spent time at USF Hillel working with the students as they have faced many challenges on campus. We also do programming and education. We recently completed a 3-year positive psychology program that we started during COVID that was online for people to attend, to learn new ways to cope with stress and anxiety and look at things in a more positive way. And then we also do case management. We have very complex cases that come our way, complex family situations, and my social worker and I are ones that step up and help guide these families through the difficult waters that they face. Through God's caring and devotion, our needs were met in the desert. Another way in which TGFS helps to meet the needs in our community is through our Emergency Financial Assistance Program. And through this program, we're able to help pay electric bills, water bills, as well as some rent. And we also occasionally will assist with a hotel stay when a client gets into a situation where they're between homes and they just need a little help until they could get to a safe place to lay their heads. Our work is never done until each and every client has received assistance or knows where to seek it, which brings me to our Vibrant Referral Program. It is the policy of our agency, if you come to us, whether you call us on the phone or walk through our doors, we will make sure you get the help that you need. If it is something that we personally do not offer through TJFS, we will guide our clients to where they can get the assistance that they need so that they feel like someone cares about them. All of our services that I've mentioned before are for everybody in the community. We do, however, have 2 services that are Jewish-specific services. One is our Hag Sameach bag program, which we go and deliver bags for all the Jewish holidays to our seniors and spend time talking with them and include special foods and trinkets that are appropriate for that holiday. And we also have JELF loans, which is our Jewish Educational Loan Fund, in which we are able to work with JELF in providing no-interest loans for undergraduate as well as graduate students. And all of these services are provided with just a staff of 5, plus social work interns and volunteers. We also partner with local agencies, including having the pleasure to work with Gulf Coast Jewish Family and Community Services. We have most recently worked with them on their Sharsharet Breast Cancer Pause for a Cause walk and on Sharsharet's What's Jewish About Breast and Ovarian Cancer presentation. By partnering together, we reach even more people in our community. As you might imagine, many of our clients come to us with one specific request. They come to us for food. Well, chances are if they need food, they need help elsewhere. And we make sure that we look at each individual and each family as they are and meet them where they are at that moment. We want to make sure that we're offering not just food, but wraparound services. So if they need help paying a bill or they need counseling, we make sure we offer all of those to our clients so that we're taking care of the whole being. The need for our services are at an all-time high, higher now than they were at the height of COVID. And these are a few stories that we are hearing every single day. The call from a family with 3 kids whose electricity is about to be turned off today, and their kids will not have lights, their kids will not be able to access their computers and do their homework. Or a senior citizen who requires a CPAP machine to breathe at night. When his electricity comes off, he no longer will have the life-saving mechanisms that he needs to be able to breathe that night. I cannot tell you how many grandparents come to our food bank who have taken in their grandkids. And they are on fixed incomes and barely making it on their own. And now they have to feed and clothe little ones. Or the severely depressed person who calls us and doesn't know where to turn because they cannot afford any type of therapy. We make sure they're seen immediately. And just maybe we prevented a suicide. And then we have our more unique situations that come our way, and I'm going to share this on our video as well with you, is we had a kidney transplant patient approach us who was from another state and had to come here to Tampa General Hospital to receive his kidney transplant. What a blessing. Had no place to live, and thanks to the generosity of a community member, opened up her home. We were able to make sure they had a place to live, they had food on the table, they had the care that they needed to get through several months of challenging times. As God was patient with us, even when we stubbornly resisted implementing rules and ritual practices, He made it possible for the Exodus generation and the next generation to make it to the Promised Land. Even today, we face the challenges of ensuring the survival and meeting of basic needs of this generation to the next. And this is why Tampa Jewish Family Services is and always will be here to help. I'd like you to now join me in watching a short video about our agency.
I have gefilte fish ready to go. Expires 2024. I've got my
Lee Davidson Merrill Byrne heads up the Tampa Jewish Family Services Food Bank. She's giving us a tour of her storeroom.
I am incredibly proud of the work that we do, the programs that I have initiated and been able to implement, the success that it is making a difference for our clients' lives.
And Byrne says some of the people who need food might surprise you.
This isn't 1930 when the people that are using food banks are coming in with their eyes downcast, shuffling in, looking for a handout. These are families that are working. There are seniors that have medical bills, much more than they would have planned. There are people that are hardworking, that have just hit different circumstances that they need a little bit of assistance. And we're able to provide the gap between what they have and what they need.
It's more astronomical than one could imagine. It is huge. There are more people that I find without than I had ever imagined. Everywhere I go, there are people in need.
Milton Malthus operates a transitional home for homeless veterans and other homeless people, and he relies on the food bank to help feed the folks in his program.
It would not be fulfilled or the same, or they would not be able to eat or clothe themselves as well as they also allow us to have bathing stuff to give to the people to keep their bodies, because their income is very nominal.
They have to eat. We supply it. We thank God for it. We thank God for this program allowing us to do this.
Several ministers also come to Tampa Jewish Family Services to get provisions for their members, who they say would go hungry or even homeless without the help.
Because the rent's going up. So therefore now they're having to put more money into the rental, and which means less money for food for them, their children, or their grandchildren.
And those who turn to Tampa Jewish Family Services are often doing everything they can to keep their head above water and feed their family.
When a 15-year-old expectant mother comes in, nobody's shocked that she's having a hard time. But for a working father of 2 to come in and say, I work full-time and I can't afford to feed my family, that's a whole different mindset. And we make it very convenient, easy, non-judgmental. We're not the food police. We're here to help alleviate the stress and the worry of food insecurity.
But is the food bank your most high-profile thing?
I think when people look at the agency, that's what they tend to think about, but it's only one small portion of what we do. We do so many more things.
Dr. Beth Ann Gumunder is the CEO of Tampa Jewish Family Services.
We have our psychological and social wellness center where we see counseling patients. We take both insurance and, most importantly, we see patients on a sliding fee schedule. And then we also have our emergency financial assistance program, which we are absolutely inundated at this point. The need in our community is greater than I think it has ever been.
But Tampa Jewish Family Services often reaches beyond our community.
It is a miracle. I said it's a new lease of life.
Alan Bancourt is a prime example. He lives in Georgia, but is coming to Tampa General Hospital to receive a new kidney, and he needed a place for his wife to stay while he recuperates from the surgery.
My rabbi put me in touch with the Jewish Family Services in Tampa. That's where I met Dr. Beth Ann.
So he had reached out to us, and with working with him, we've been able to find a condo for him to stay in. We're helping. He knows that we're here to help with food. We're getting his apartment set up for him, making sure that he has what he needs so that his wife can work remotely while she's here taking care of him, because he'll be here at least a month, and making sure that he has everything he needs and his wife has what she needs.
Just another way Tampa Jewish Family Services reaches out and makes a difference in people's lives every day, even sometimes to people who weren't expecting they'd need their help.
I mean, my entire career, we give to the community. We gave and gave and gave and helped others. I never had to receive. This is the first time in my life that I'm receiving, and it's a weird feeling. It's a humbling experience.
I'm not sure who gets more out of it, they do or I, because I leave feeling so good that I know that in some small way I made a difference.
It's a huge difference. There's something special and sacred about what we're doing.
Thank you, Beth. So we are also thrilled to have Elke coming with us. Elke is the Senior Vice President of Programs and Administration at Gulf Coast Jewish Family and Community Services, working with dedicated leaders to provide support and services to diverse populations in our community. Are you talking about your programs, or can I read? Okay. She oversees programs for newcomers to our community, including refugees and unaccompanied children, elders and differently abled individuals in affordable housing programs, Holocaust survivors, and individuals who are facing barriers to employment. We are so lucky to have Cindy Minetti as a member of our community who works very hard with Gulf Coast Jewish Family and Community Services. But Cindy said, I'm going to let Elke speak this evening. So it's my honor to give our bima to Elke Cumming. Just right here whenever you're
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Tough act to follow. But it's also wonderful to follow a wonderful partner. Our community cannot meet all of the needs that exist in all levels of families, children, individuals, and adults without the support of our larger community. As Gulf Coast celebrates our 50th anniversary of incorporation this year, we look forward to the future. We rest on the foundations that have been set forth by our forefathers and foremothers to welcome the stranger, to help those who are in need, to work with our feet, our hands, and our hearts to serve those who need us on what might be their most challenging day, or maybe a day when they have a little bit of rest and can look around and ask for help.
Our dedicated staff of approximately 600 team members offer services in over 40 Florida counties to remove barriers and support access to services to meet unique needs of diverse individuals and families. We work under a number of pillars, which you'll see here. 7 pillars is what we refer to, and most of these programs do exist here in Hillsborough County as well. We have our affordable housing program. Our largest program is here in Temple Terrace to house elders who may or may not have family supports. So our staff, whether or not they choose to, become family to them. Some find themselves advocating for them, working with other community partners to make sure that the needs beyond the roof over their head are provided for. We provide services in behavioral health for the prevention and intervention for individuals with risk factors for substance abuse. Our alternative family programs offer therapeutic foster care for adults with mental illness or who are fragile elders. Our child and family services are a really broad platform for us here in this community, where we have child welfare case management, family reunification, our Good Afternoon Friends and Amigos working with migrant families to make sure that children have a safe after-school space to live, learn, and play during the summer and the school year. We have kinship support and padres de crianza that work with family members to welcome children, though they are biological members of their family but not their birth child, into their home to provide them the supports to keep children with their families happy and healthy. And our teen parent engagement program, working with both young mothers and fathers to build stronger futures to encourage them to complete their education and have stable, workable lives where they can sustain a job, continue their education, and provide a safe and wonderful environment for their new child to grow in. We provide care for our elders and those who are differently abled. Among our elders, one of our favorite programs, and I know this is one of Cindy's favorites, is our Chats program. It's a free and friendly way for volunteers to interact with lonely elders, just checking in once a week, although most of our volunteers opt to work with more than one elder and speak with them and have more of a personal relationship than just once a week. They find that those relationships go both ways. It's not just the elder who benefits. Some of our younger volunteers have found mentors among the elders that they interact with. Homemakers in our program offer companionship and care to carry out everyday activities for some of our elders who can't go to the grocery store by themselves, who can't pay their bills on their own, who can't do their laundry. Just to have the dignity of someone who is caring and loving coming into their home, who is trusted, is something that is a privilege of ours to be able to offer. Of course, you're more familiar with our Jewish Family Services and Holocaust survivors. Our Holocaust survivors are a treasure to work with. They teach us so much about resilience every day. They teach us about breaking down barriers in everyday life, in everyday ways that we sometimes don't see the way around things. And they say, this is nothing. Let me tell you about my life. That certainly gives us some perspective. And Jewish Family Services, working with our colleagues in Tampa to make sure that needs are met, whether it's offering food cards for folks to have the dignity to select their own foods to meet their family's needs, working with partners to have access to behavioral health care, working with partners to make sure that elders have transportation to get to their medical appointments, and having the dignity to know that they can ask without feeling like they're begging or pleading for assistance, knowing that we will help them find a way to meet those needs. And then our workforce development area. This is another area of dignity and reducing barriers. Through our Tampa Bay Job Links, job coaching, through our non-custodial parent employment program, and now our newest FAME, Fathers Accessing Mentorship and Enrichment, we're working with parents who are struggling to get back in the workforce, whether they've lost their job or perhaps they've been through some difficulties with the legal system and are having difficulties getting back into the workplace. Our team works with them to reduce those barriers, get them into working full-time jobs, high-paying wages, which at least a minimum wage, at least a $15 wage is what most are looking for to be able to provide for themselves and for their families. And to do so in a way that they're not judged, to have advocates that will go to court with them, advocates that will go to a judge and say they really need that driver's license so that they can drive to work, so that they can pay for their child support for their child. So many of the families in this program have given up. Dads who say, I've been called a deadbeat dad, and all I want to do is to provide for my child, but I also need to keep a roof over my head. Can you help me? and we say yes. It's not easy. And some of our little case managers, I say little because I think of one of my 4'0" case managers who gets up to those young men who say, I've given up, and she whips them into shape. And she tells them, nope, let's go to court, let's take care of business and do what you have to do to take care of your kids. And they listen. Sometimes they need that tough grandma to push them around. So whether it's incarceration or a job loss or just learning a new skill, we're encountering many elders in this period who are having to go back to work, figuring that they had retired and they were permanently out of work and happy to do so, saying, I can't pay my rent, or I can't pay my insurance. I need to go back to work, and I need new skills, because this new workforce speaks a whole different language than I. We're ready to work with them to speak that new language and be successful in their career path. Celebrating survivors. This is our Holocaust survivors, and we try to celebrate whatever we can, whenever we can with them, because as I said, they're resilient, they've taught us so much, and they bring so much joy. And this is something that I tell every new employee at Gulf Coast when we do our orientation. It is our duty to learn from them, to carry their stories forward, because that history, that legacy, that knowledge, that experience cannot be lost. And as I sit in classrooms with some of our Holocaust survivors telling stories to young children about their experience and seeing the children have a deep understanding of that, I have hope that that story, that legacy, that knowledge, that experience will not allow this to happen again in our world. And welcoming folks home. This is a different kind of welcome the stranger. You see Cindy and Hannah Cowart from our agency that shortly after the horrors in October, we're welcoming folks who were escaping. And we try to figure out, what can we do? What these folks have experienced, what they've seen, the terrors, the horrors, they just want to get home. They don't want to see us. So some teddy bears came in. Someone said, we have a box of teddy bears that we have for our children in our foster care program and our heart adoption program. Do you think the kids would like a teddy bear? I'll tell you, Cindy told me some of the adults took some of those teddy bears, because sometimes just the comfort of that hug, that go beyond the hug of a human being and the smile of friendship, that's important. And being there when people are having those tough times, just being present and being friendly and being welcoming is something we're willing to do whenever we're called upon to do so. Now, the deeper elements of welcoming the stranger, and this is, some of our Holocaust survivors and folks that were escaping Russia were some of our first refugees, but more and more every day we're seeing the growth of these pathways of folks that are coming with desperation, that are showing up in our communities needing help, needing community, and that's where your community has been so beautiful a partner. Welcoming the strangers, setting up a welcome circle to help new arrival families find their way, get to school the first day, help a family, take them by the hand to go meet with the principal to register their child in school, explain the norms of the community, navigate the community, help them find a job, help them find a new place to live, help them set up their home, have a warm meal waiting in the oven for them. And then you're seeing some photos here from our refugee garden with some of our Afghan refugees, where some of your children from your community came out and took part in mitzvah to help them build the garden and help build understanding and help children from Afghanistan and Ukraine and other places far away know that there are other children just like them in this community that are welcoming them into their schools, into their friendships and their homes. This garden is entirely a community volunteer-driven activity where the refugees who had experience in agriculture wanted somewhere to get their hands dirty when they're going through stressful times, someplace that was welcoming, someplace they could gather with friends, and a local faith-based community opened up a piece of their property to build a garden. And that garden has flourished and built so many relationships and made people feel like they were home. Another aspect of our refugee services is our micro-enterprise and career pathways. Imagine being a physician, a surgeon, coming from Afghanistan, trained in the West, having all the certificates and everything that they would need to work, but not having that paperwork to prove that case. Our career pathways is something that we worked really hard with the government to advocate for, to say people who have these skills should be able to practice their expertise in our community. We should welcome folks that are engineers and architects and doctors and pharmacists and help them find a place in our community to work. And that's where our community members have opened their arms as employers to help that pathway happen. Whether it's bringing someone in as a physician assistant to help them start their medical career here in the United States while they get all that paperwork and requirements and testing and studies out of the way, but allow them to keep that expertise alive and serving our community. Because refugees have become such a vibrant part of our community, giving back. I was just speaking with one of our former refugees who had arrived a little bit longer ago, about 5 years ago, who set up his own business, had some seed money from our organization, and now has a multi-million-dollar business where he pays it forward by giving jobs to other refugees. So community, building community, welcoming, and creating opportunities for others is something that we are so grateful for and continue to do through our refugees program and in partnership with our community. So in closing, I want to welcome you and all of your family to continue to perform mitzvahs, to walk with our community, to be there to answer the call, because we can't do it alone. And it is within community that we welcome others, we make them stronger, and we are all stronger for it. So thank you for the blessings that you've provided to those we serve and that we continue to serve.
What an inspiring Passover message from both of you to remind us, A, that we don't have to do it alone, that there are community partners with whom we can work to make a difference, and that we can help people across their own seas. At this time, I'm going to invite Dana Grimman to come share some announcements on behalf of the congregation.
Good evening, Shabbat Shalom, and Passover greetings to you all. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, we'd like to welcome everyone to Congregation Schaarai Zedek. What a special evening. Thank you, Beth Ann and Elke. It was wonderful having you with us. It was very informative, what you told us, very educational. Thank you so much for what you do. At Schaarai Zedek, we are very proud of the variety of programs we offer. Events for the upcoming week can be found inside your pamphlets and in this week's e-news, which can also be viewed on our website, www.zedek.org. For those live streaming tonight's services, we welcome you and hope you'll visit our website to view upcoming events. Again, whether you're in our sanctuary or joining us from home, we're so glad you're with us tonight, and we hope to see you again soon. Shabbat Shalom. Happy Passover.
Thank you, Dana. So I talked about counting the pages until we were done with the service. We are in a period called Sfirat HaOmer, the counting of the Omer. Beginning the second night of Passover, we count 7 weeks until we get to Shavuot. Now, the tradition is that you have to count every night, and if you miss a day, you're actually done. But we're in a Reformed synagogue, so even if you haven't been counting, you are welcome to begin this evening as we'll count together. So we'll say the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat ha'omer. And then, that's blessed are you, God, who sanctifies us with the commandments and commands us to count the days of the Omer, and we can say together in Hebrew and English, Hayom arba'a yamim la'omer. Today is 4 days of the Omer. And we'll rise as we continue with Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, la'tet gedula li'otzer b'reshit, shelo asanu kigoyei ha'aratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adam. Shalom chelkeinu kahem, v'goralenu kechol ha'olam, va'anachnu gorim, u'mishtahavim v'godim,
be seated. There are stars up above so far away we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. As we join together as a community this evening, we remember those from this community who have recently been laid to rest: Barbara Graver, Carly Friedman, and Leonard Wolf. We also remember those whose yahrzeit, the anniversary of whose passing, occurs at this time: Justin Altschuler, Gilda Atkins, Miriam Atkins, Fanny C. Barber, Leon William Chesler, Philip Scott Dobrzhansky, Miriam Messerman Ephraim, Geraldine Gambrill, Shirley Geegan, Selma Ginsberg, Marvin Goldenberg, Sophie F. Green, Gerald Groden, Jose Gernfinkel, Lester Hirsch Sr., Barbara Ingber, Al Janis, James Bradley Kleinman, Dorothy Klein, Norton Leff, Michael Levine, Selma Levitt, Julia C. Moss, Emily Meyerson, Sarah Belgrad Nahamkis, Helen Nash, Sadie Pasternak, Alvin Putterman, Robert Rabel, G. Earl Rich, Frank Rosen, Dama Kaufman-Sachs, Edward Siegel, Martha Shapiro, L. David Shear, Louis Schein, Joseph Stokowski, Louis Taub, Rachel Treves, Selma Vosk, Charles B. Wax, Francis Weil, Max G. Weinberg, Richard M. Weinberger, Ronald Weisberg, Jack Wolf, Estelle Jacob Zabar, Martha Zalonka, and Jack Zussman. We remember each of them as we remember all of our own loved ones who are no longer with us, who, though unmentioned, are always in our hearts. Zichronam livracha, may their memory always be a blessing. As we rise and join together in Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's cottage, where even as we mourn, we thank and praise God for having shared such special souls with us. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba, be'alma divrach hirute v'yamlich malchute, b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevarach leolam ulamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yithala. Shmei dekudesha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved, as we say together. Everyone may be seated except for any of our young people who want to join us on the bima. It's still Passover.
So we get to have...
But you know, you each get your own entire piece of matzah because we got like a whole box up here. So go ahead, you can take back to your families. Stay up here for our blessing, though. Do you want matzah to go with your wine? No? Okay. So we'll sing our blessing. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen. B'tei avon.
And, you know, really to get the sense of the bread of affliction, we decided for tonight's Oneg Shabbat, no desserts, just matzah.
Don't believe a word he's saying.
So we just have a whole room of matzah
Nice
set
try.
up. No, we do have desserts. We do have desserts. We have
He's
a
kidding.
special Passover Oneg Shabbat set up in our Schimberg Grand Foyer as soon as our service is over. And we'll rise now. Do you guys want to stay up here for Oseh Shalom? Or you can go. Up to you. But we'll rise now. You can stay. You want to stay? Okay.
You going to sing with me, Gabe?
Yeah, let's all stand as we sing together,
sing with me?
asking that the one who
boy.
makes peace in the heavens will make peace for all of us, for all of Israel, and for the whole world. Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Ready? And then you go like this. You go. Bum, bum, bum. Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh Shalom. I forgot it. Bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol. I'll give it back to you. Can you clap? Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Bum, bum, bum. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Bum, bum. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol. Wait, I got a high five first. So either Gulf Coast Jewish Family and Community Services or Tampa Jewish Family Services, one of you, we need a program for kids who need to learn how to find the beat. So I will. So Shabbat Shalom Moadim Lesimcha.
Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'hamideinu malkeinu lechayim Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom V'hamideinu malkeinu lechayim
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim.
Ushmor Tzedekenu Uvoenu Lechaim u'shalom me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu
Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu
Shalom, v'hamidenu
Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu
Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu
Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu
There is a past in every portrait, and there is a truth in every tale, and all the days that came before us are as the wind upon our sails.
There is a forest in every father as he stands amidst the wild. There is a mountain in every mother, her sturdy force of heart and mind.
Shines on and on. The door of Adonai, God,